And a good afternoon, live on YouTube. You're tuned in to Bucknell Wrestling. This afternoon's matchup features the Bucknell Bison as they take on the Brown Bears. Great to have you with us this afternoon alongside Braden Barukowitz. I'm Nicholas Severini. We're live from the Davis Gym in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania for Senior Day here at the Davis Gym between Bucknell and Brown. Braden, this is a fascinating part of the season for both of these schools. You've got Bucknell and even Stevens 7-7 overall record, 3-4 though in these conference duels, trying to make it 4-4 against a Brown opponent limping to the finish line.
So at this point in the year, all eyes set on the EIWAs, and it becomes more about how are you doing individually. As we come up on the EIWAs, you can put all the losses behind you, all the hardship, everything, and just focus on the one tournament in March, because that's all that matters. Send you to the NCAAs. That's what everyone wants to do here. So we're gonna have prospects on both sides that are gonna be looking to punch their way in the rankings higher up in the EIWAs and look to advance themselves. And I think that we're gonna be set for a pretty good dual meet here today.
Well, with March just around the corner, both these sets of wrestlers set to have one last jot on their resume heading into the conference championships and eventually, of course, the nationals as well, which I'm sure some of these wrestlers have on their mind. Let's get right into it with the probables, starting at 125, which is where we'll start this duel. It'll feature David Heiser or Grayson McClellan against Michael Joyce. 133 will have number 14th ranked Kurt Phipps against Hunter Adrian. 141 will have Dylan Chappell against Ian Oswalt. 149 Riley Bauer against Sam McMonagle. 157 features freshman Aiden Davis against the junior Blake Saito. 165 will have number 18th ranked Noah Mulvaney against either Keegan Rothrock or Harrison Trahan. 174 Miles Tackett against Jonathan Conrad. 184 will have Mikey Bartush against Colby Isabel. 197 features Logan DeCitas against Lear Quinton. And finally at heavyweight, number 28th ranked Dorian Crosby, a former NCAA qualifier, taking on the Brooklyn native Alex Semenenko. And looking at the probables, which one of these wrestlers, especially for Bucknell's perspective, stands out to you most in terms of matchups to watch?
I think it's going to be the guys that are going to go first here for Bucknell. I believe we're going to start at 125, so I think that whoever is able to go between David Heiser and McClellan, a walk-on last year, really earned the respect of the teammates by wrestling in most of the dual meets because of the, lack of depth at that current weight. But David Heiser has been able to get in the mix late in the season, and he's performed pretty well, and I think we're about to see him go here. So excited to see him wrestle here tonight or here today, and so I think that stands out to me. For Brown, I think that whoever is able to go at 84, we heard maybe Oliveri, but we're getting underway here, so I think it's going to be Isabel.
And we are, in fact, underway here at the Davis Gym. Match 1 of 10 in this duel between Bucknell and Brown. It's what looks to be David Heiser against Michael Joyce in the 125-pound matchup. Two wrestlers with a combined record of 2-7 on this season, squaring off in the orange circle as we're underway. It's Bucknell in their white, orange, and blue singlets with Brown in their what looks to be black-colored singlets with the brown bear on the back.
David Heiser will be redshirting this year, so this will be the final time he is competing this season. So looking to go out on a high note here. So look for David Heiser to push it just a little bit harder.
David Heiser had some real tough competition last time out against number 3rd ranked Luke Stanich of Lehigh. Lost that one in a technical fall 17-1. His last 2 losses have been by way of technical fall. And of course, this will be his last appearance on the campaign, taking that red shirt year. He's looking to get it in winning fashion to potentially improve to 2-3 on the season with his 1-3 record against the Rhode Island native Michael Joyce. Still a little separating the two wrestlers as we begin. Good initial attack there by David Heiser. Just doing well to defend and parry against it.
Yeah, doing well with the feints here, getting some good reactions from Joyce. Look for David Heiser to shoot that single that he's been looking for.
Michael Joyce, meanwhile, a sophomore, a graduate of Pontiac High School, comes in with a record of 1-4. His only win of the season, it was that 7-2 decision victory against Carson Wagner of Binghamton. As both wrestlers momentarily on the mat, Joyce now trying to upend David Heiser, does so and gets 3 points for the takedown.
Great job by Joyce to get in on the single, get above the knee, trip out the leg, and Joyce is on the board 3-0. that is new this year. It was formerly 2, but we've been getting used to it.
Yeah, it's one of those rule changes, one of the couple that NCAA men's wrestling made for this campaign. The 2 big ones you'd have to argue. You had, of course, the 3 points for the takedown, as we saw, and also the introduction of 3 near-fall points instead of either just 2 or 4. You can get 3 in there. That adds another, just a little extra spice to it once they get in that position.
Another thing that they added was the reaction time. They're, less quick to dole out the points for a takedown because of the 3, how impactful it is on the match. And so there's this new reaction time where it gives the wrestler almost a second to scramble and, fight to a better position and maybe not give up the 3.
And we have seen that a couple of times throughout the campaign, both for Bucknell and throughout college wrestling, where you have that delayed reaction in terms of awarding the takedown. It has allowed wrestlers to defend against them well. And trying to defend well here is David Heiser, trailing 3-0 early on against Michael Joyce at the 125-pound matchup 1 of 10 that we are going to see this afternoon at the Davis Gym. 3 ranked wrestlers on tap later on at 133, number 14th ranked Kurt Phipps, 165, number 18th ranked Noah Mulvaney, and at 285, number 28th ranked Dorian Crosby. The 3 ranked wrestlers set to wrestle here this afternoon on senior day as well here at the Davis Gym.
David Heiser fighting the hands right now. He's got to break that grip of Joyce if he wants to get back to his feet. But he's back to his base right now.
Well, the advantage belonging to the sophomore Michael Joyce against the freshman Cade David Heiser, the Bartow, Pennsylvania native, conceding an early takedown, unable to get to the escape as the second period begins with Joyce up 3-0 against David Heiser. Joyce with the decision chooses the bottom position with David Heiser on top to start the second frame.
Joyce taking down, I think, a wise decision as he's quickly to his feet. David Heiser trying to bring him back down, and Joyce will get that point for the escape.
He did really well there, didn't he? The quick 4-point stance for Joyce, back up onto his feet, was able to get the escape to make it 4-0 in favor of the sophomore.
Absolutely. And look for David Heiser here. He's really got to push the offense here. I've talked before about with wrestlers on the team about that mentality you have when you're trailing. It almost is like it puts you in a mode of being more aggressive, and it's difficult to wrestle from behind at times. But David Heiser, some wrestlers get a little better when they're behind.
You see there, Joyce just trying to upend David Heiser on that occasion, but the Bucknell wrestler is able to spin away from it and prevent another potential takedown. Remains 4-0, 1:16 left in the second period at the 125-pound matchup. Great crowd on end here for senior day. 5 seniors honored prior to this afternoon's duel, the final home match that Bucknell will have in terms of a home duel, but they will, in fact, be getting busy later on in March with the EIWA Championships, which the Bison are hosting this season.
That's extremely advantageous to the Bucknell wrestlers. I spoke with wrestler Noah Mulvaney of Bucknell, and he talked about how, you can stick to your routine having the championships being here, and it allows you no unknowns. You don't have to go into another gym and worry about some variables, but you can control a lot of what you're going to do here.
David Heiser with not a lot of control there in that neutral stance, but the referee stands him up. 2 officials here for this afternoon's duel.
And another good job by Joyce to get in on that single. David Heiser maybe a little early, jumping over the back, looking to even out the control, but a stalemate. And Joyce again gets in on that single.
There's that right leg attempted takedown here for Joyce. David Heiser, though, doing well, just grabbing at the hips of Joyce to prevent the takedown as of now. This is a real advantageous position.
David Heiser might come out on top here. He's got to clear that leg, and he does.
Very well done there by Cade David Heiser, but the brick comes onto the mat quickly. Referee allowing play to continue here as Joyce is looking to get a potential reversal. The clock has expired. The referees don't know it. Well, that was a very wild end to the proceedings there. The horn not entirely as loud as the referees would have expected. The 000s and the brick thrown on the floor. A lot to take in there.
Yeah, very high commotion moment, but the points were awarded to Brown. I don't know if this is an error.
Yeah, it was in fact Michael Joyce that got the takedown points for that occasion, and what looked like a lot of the crowd thought was a takedown in favor of David Heiser. Yeah. It was Joyce, though, getting the takedown. So as it currently stands, as the referees will have a look at the monitor nearby where we're stationed in the press box, it stands Michael Joyce up 7-0 against Cade David Heiser. The referees having a look at this, and this is a real big moment in this duel early on. Brown with only one dual win this season. They want to get on the right foot. They could do so very well if they get the win at 125, and a lot of it could hinge potentially on this call.
Yeah, and Bucknell, I have to say they really have not been that successful at 125. This would not be unfamiliar territory if they were to go down in the first match, especially, David Heiser looking to avoid a major and hopefully keep it to just a decision or depending on this call, go on to win the match. But Bucknell would not be in unfamiliar territory if they were to drop this match, especially with no bonus points. I think would be the main objective. Against Army, Bucknell gave up a pin in the 25, and that was detrimental ended up being the difference between the match. I think that, but I'm just waiting to see here what this call is going to be. I wonder, so Brown is challenging, but the points were awarded to Brown.
Yeah, that's the fascinating part of this one, which causes a bit of confusion for us up here, because it seemed like initially, from our perspective, I called it as a David Heiser takedown, but the points there were awarded to Joyce. And I think with the initial call from our perspective, as well as the Brown head coach Jordan Lean, he saw that the takedown was given to David Heiser and just immediately threw the brick. But with the brick being thrown, it allows the referees to get a second look at this with a two-minute official crew here for this afternoon. They're able to get a couple points of view on it.
So bigger than this match, the retention of the brick, if this challenge is successful for Brown, is almost the bigger point or the bigger part of this challenge. But I'm curious to see here.
So there you go. The call overturned, no takedown awarded there on that occasion. The referee's getting a long look at it and calling no takedown afterwards. And with the confusion there, that seemed like the right call from our perspective up here. It stays 4-0 Michael Joyce ahead of David Heiser. 11 seconds left to go in the second.
Agreed. And I also believe that Brown will retain the red brick, so that's going to be big later in this dual meet.
As the clock ticks down here, that ends the next period, and the wrestler's not exactly needing an extra break there with the review. They head now into the next frame, and the score, well, now it's just changed to Michael Joyce up 3-0 against David Heiser, and that we can confirm is definitely a mistake. It should be 4-0 because it was Joyce getting an escape to start that period.
Absolutely, and I like the body language exhibited by David Heiser here. Very ready to go, right to the circle. He's getting ready to wrestle. Good choice choosing neutral, down by two, I want to say possessions, but in this term, not really correct. But he needs 2 takedowns if he wants to win this match.
So they're in the neutral stance here. 90 seconds left to go here in this period. We mentioned that Bucknell had some issues at 125 throughout this season in these types of duels. This is the third wrestler that they have used at 125 as Joyce lunges at the left leg of David Heiser. David Heiser climbing up over onto the back, trying to get some control back in this one.
And that was a fantastic re-attack by Joyce. Initially went for the left leg on the single, didn't get it, but with the re-attack was able to get the right leg, and eventually a stalemate was called. But Joyce has done a much better job of getting in on shots and at least attempting shots. David Heiser, there we go, got at the ankle.
Grabbing at that right ankle, though, is David Heiser on Joyce. This is the first real attack that the Bartow native has really put in on the Brown wrestler, but Joyce did very well to defend against it and retain both legs.
Yeah, great job by Joyce to make some space with his hips and really pull that foot away. I heard the Brown coaches yelling, kick, kick, and that's trying to get that foot away from the grasp of David Heiser.
David Heiser forced to be a bit more aggressive here, trailing 4-0 in this 125-pound matchup. This is the third wrestler that Bucknell has featured in a duel at 125. Grayson McClellan.
And Owen Bell.
And Owen Bell, the other one, with 22 seconds left. It's David Heiser, what could potentially be the final match of the season for the freshman, trying to get the attack. But here's Joyce grabbing at the left ankle, turning in on David Heiser. No points awarded yet for a takedown. 10 seconds left. And now they are awarded the points. It's Michael Joyce getting the takedown on David Heiser with just 5 seconds left. Joyce with the extra takedown.
And I believe that is going to be a major.
And that's going to, crucially, due to the plus 1 minute of ride time, the extra bonus point makes it 8-0. Michael Joyce wins that one, and that makes it a major decision victory. A perfect start for the visitors here against Bucknell, with Joyce taking it over David Heiser, 8-0.
And David Heiser frustrated after that match. But Bucknell looking to rebound here with one of the people we've been looking forward to seeing today. I think that Kurt Phipps and another wrestler, Noah Mulvaney, are the real main attractions here today. Of course, senior night, Dorian Crosby will finish it off in good fashion. But Phipps, always a treat to watch. So we'll get right into it. So who do we got for Brown?
Well, this dude is box office, Kurt Phipps, and he'll be taking on Hunter Adrian, coming in with a record of 6-8, the junior out of Melrose, Massachusetts. Kurt Phipps and everyone throughout Bucknell knows this name, ranked 14th in the nation at 133. The senior being honored on Senior Day, a former NCAA qualifier. He's won his last 2 matches and 21 of his last 22 matches. That's just how dominant Kurt Phipps has been this season. And on Senior Day, he's trying to get another victory.
And he is an academic senior, but he is going to be returning for his – well, will still be enrolled. Bucknell does not do graduates, so he will be enrolled, I guess, partially. So he will be returning to the team. So, yes, senior night, senior day for Phipps, but he will have another year here at Bucknell.
Kurt Phipps, it was a real close one last time against a ranked wrestler in Sheldon Seymour of Lehigh. He got a narrow 1-0 decision victory. Very rare that you see a 1-0 win, but Hunter Adrian, the wrestler he takes on, got the same thing in his last result. 1-0 decision win against Drexel's John Hildebrand. So both of these wrestlers, coming off of low-scoring 1-0 victories, square off here at the Davis Gym. And
if I remember correctly, I believe that Phipps was able to tech Hildebrand in the Bucknell faced off against Drexel 2 weekends ago. And Phipps, he did not face Hildebrand. He faced another wrestler, Jackson Maroney, and he won by major. But that you said a 1-0 decision over the Lehigh wrestler. I'm forgetting the name, but that speaks to Kurt Phipps' strengths. Phipps is probably the best rider on Bucknell, and when he gets on your back, he is extremely dangerous. So winning 1-0, I believe he was able to ride out the entire third period on top, and that's what caused the 1-0. But Phipps here locked in. A bit
of trouble here.
It's in the front headlock.
Trying to grab at the left hip of Phipps there was Adrian, but the ranked wrestler able to defend against it well.
And Phipps is too seasoned of a veteran to allow Adrian to turn the corner here. So Phipps is perfectly content to hang on that left arm of Adrian with the Russian. And
you can see the quick movement of the hips as well there from Kurt Phipps, preventing any sort of takedown points as of yet. As Phipps able to stand back down, they come off the circle, and the referee will stand him up.
And you see Phipps was grabbing on that arm for dear life, not going to let go.
Got to say, Hunter Adrian, he looks like he belongs on the mat here against Kurt Phipps, the 6-8 record, but that close win against Drexel last time out has given the Brown wrestler some newfound confidence on the campaign.
Yeah, definitely trending in the right direction. Oh, but Phipps here.
Good hit movement there by Adrian, just seeing off Phipps on that occasion.
And that's where Kurt Phipps is extremely dangerous, where in the scramble, where it's 50-50 and you don't know who's going to come out on top, I feel like that's where Phipps really thrives. But in neutral like this, where they're just jockeying in the clinch, I feel like Phipps is a lot less effective, but he's very good at making those angles, creating opportunities for himself. So look for him to, some quick movements coming out of the break.
There's an attempted leg kick there by Adrian. Phipps able to stay on his feet. 3 seconds left to go here in the opening period. Well, it looked like more of a chess match than something with high stakes. Adrian and Phipps both exchanging efforts, and they go into the second period with a neutral score of 0-0.
And Phipps will take down here. Adrian defers to the third period, so Phipps will look to escape here.
That's Adrian just looking a bit at the wrestler that he's going up against, trying to get as much ride time as he can. An early escape for Phipps crucial here if he is to get another low-scoring victory. Phipps, though, might be trying to get something out of it, turn it into a reversal. Adrian staying on top, but here comes Phipps grabbing at the right leg, and he's got the reversal. An excellent start there from Kurt Phipps in the second frame, getting the reversal.
And Phipps, quick to his feet, gets turned around, keeps hold of that wrist, and gets the leg, too. Great reversal there by Kurt Phipps.
Adrian in a bit of a 4-point stance. Phipps wrestled on top of him. The referee with the whistle in his pocket, not blowing it as of yet, and then does so for the stalemate. And that was really well done, though, by Kurt Phipps.
Absolutely.
Able to get that reversal, turn it into 2 points.
And so this is where Kurt Phipps is dangerous. You allow him to get both hooks in and really maintain that control on your back, and you're in for a long day. And so you see here, Kurt is immediately going to put in one of those hooks.
quickly putting Adrian on his side right out of the restart. Adrian keeping chest to mat, no near fall points yet.
And so Phipps not going to go for the pin, but just going to look to really drain your stamina here. You see he's going to lock that ankle and not allow Adrian to get any momentum going forward. But then at some point, I believe that Phipps will put in the other leg under the into like a backpack almost and try to flatten out Adrian. But Phipps perfectly content to ride out Adrian in this position.
So that's the strategy right here with Curt Phipps, just laying on top of Adrian and maybe attempt to set Adrian up with his chest back onto the mat. But as of now, the priority for Phipps is just the ride time.
Absolutely. I mean, in this period, I think that Phipps is going to continue to ride. And a stall call warning against Adrian. Not a lot of activity from the bottom, but, you know, he doesn't want to give up any more points than he has to. So it's kind of like they're a symbiotic relationship between both these wrestlers in this current moment. You know, Phipps isn't going to go for the pin, not going to try to do too much, but Adrian doesn't want to give Phipps an opportunity to get that pin. So he's perfectly going to hang out in this position, but also he's got to be careful of the stall call. And now a stall call against Phipps.
Yeah, how about that? The stall warning giving. It seems like the official saw what was taking place with Phipps content staying on top of Adrian. That now makes both wrestlers with a stall warning. The next time a stall is called, it'll be points awarded for the reverse wrestler.
I believe it's 3. You get 2 warnings, and then I believe it's a point. So Phipps. And you hear the reaction of the crowd here.
It's very rare, isn't it, for the wrestler in the attack position to get some stall warnings, but he's getting busy here with just 3 seconds left. Adrian, though, getting back into a good stance. No near-fall points awarded there as we go into the third period. Phipps up 2-0 against Adrian. That was a very fascinating second frame. Phipps with the reversal, the only point so far.
And you see Phipps ready to go right to the circle, exhibiting great body language in this moment. This is where Curt Phipps thrives. He's got a gas tank to go all day, and in the third period is where Curt Phipps shines, and right away
he's got the right leg here of Adrian, but Adrian staying on top of Phipps, preventing another takedown. Adrian did
Phipps
so well in the first period, but he got the reversal. He's trying to get a takedown here. The plaudits come. And now it comes out, the 3 fingers up by the officials, another takedown for Curt Phipps.
And I wouldn't be surprised in this period if Curt Phipps were to cut Adrian loose and go for another takedown. So you see to his feet, Phipps is going to cut him loose, and Phipps is going to go right back to work, looking for that major or tech.
Yeah, you look ahead there. Oh, that's an excellent arm down there. That is perfectly done by Phipps, but he doesn't get the takedown yet. Adrian comes back at it. Oh, that looked beautiful from Phipps, but the referee not putting the 3 fingers up, a shake of the head by the official. Didn't see enough. It was part of that delayed call there. No takedown awarded, and now Adrian comes on the attack.
I mean, that might have been one of the cleanest slide-bys I've seen in quite some time. What a move by Curt Phipps. Couldn't finish the takedown, but still in good position here.
That was so well orchestrated, wasn't it? Grabbing at the left arm down, but you have to give credit to Adrian defending against it well enough to prevent the takedown there, which could have easily turned it into a major decision.
Yeah, but Adrian looking a little labored here. Doesn't seem like he's exhibiting quite the same energy level as Phipps, so I think it's going to be more of what we've seen from Curt Phipps here.
1:48 of ride time, notably for Curt Phipps. That will give him a bonus point. So, yeah, the bonus point for the ride time, that would make it 6-1. He's looking for another takedown, but Adrian there chasing one of his own. Phipps just getting out of it. And now they get back onto the mat.
And Phipps going to try to get both those ankles here. But as long as Adrian has hold of that leg, you see referee looking here for potentially dangerous.
You saw the left leg, I believe, or was the right leg of Phipps just leaning onto the head of Adrian. They come in behind, no stoppage awarded there. Real precarious spot, isn't it, at this part of the mat as the final horn goes. Well, you have to give Hunter Adrian his flowers for that performance, doing very well against the reigning NCAA qualifier, but it is Curt Phipps getting another victory, a final score of 6-1 against Hunter Adrian, a decision win on the team score. Brown still up 4-3 against Bucknell.
And I think Adrian has a lot to be proud of. You know, Phipps, a very accomplished, very good wrestler. I think 1 or 2 years his senior. So not too much to hang his head on, just giving up a decision, no bonus points. You know, I think the Brown coaching staff would be a matchup going into this that you'd expect Bucknell possibly to get some bonus points in. But look, are we taking a break in between matches here? I thought that we were...
And we, in fact, will step aside here with 90 seconds remaining until we head to our 141-pound matchup live on YouTube. You're tuned in to Bucknell Wrestling. Back underway here at the Davis Gym in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Both schools winning one match at 125 and 133 respectively. We're at 141. We're underway between Dylan Chappell and Ian Oswalt in this 141-pound matchup. And quickly, it's Oswalt putting Chappell onto the mat. They both go into the neutral stance. A real difficult position here for Chappell, trying to grab onto the right arm of Oswalt to prevent the takedown. This is a real difficult position for the Bucknell wrestler. No points awarded yet for the takedown, Braden. They're right into the action here at 141.
Yeah, wasting no time getting underway. A crazy scramble to get us underway. Great whizzer by Chappell to avoid getting taken down. But this is what Chappell's known for, bringing the pace, so he's wasting no time getting into it.
Maybe a bit unorthodox there from Dylan Chappell, but it worked to prevent the takedown as Oswalt had Chappell in a good position, but lunging at the right arm, preventing the takedown. More than 30 seconds gone here at 141. It was Cade David Heiser losing to Michael Joyce at 125, and Kurt Phipps getting a decision win against Hunter Adrian at 133. That Joyce win at 125, a major decision, which has the Bears of Brown ahead 4-3 on the team score against Bucknell heading into this 141 matchup. Here comes Chappell again with Oswalt sprawling on top of him.
Great single there by Chappell. Still got the leg. Going to look to drive through here. Oswalt with a great sprawl. Got his hips to the floor in very quick fashion. But Chappell going to hang on.
Oswalt on top of Chappell currently, but Chappell grabbing at the right leg of Oswalt. And he's got a real strong grip on the right leg. Oswalt still on top, but is trying to get some sort of grip on Chappell as he looks to spin around him. Oswalt placing himself, I should say, right on top of Chappell, and the referee will stall them up. So we've seen both wrestlers put on a pretty good attack here in the first 90 seconds, but good defensive wrestling on the other end, preventing points.
It feels like Oswalt kind of wants to go for like a more of a Greco-Roman style attack, you know, looking to work from the clinch, work for like maybe a hip toss or something. Not really the conventional single or double, but so look here, he's got the Russian. And, you know, it just feels like that's more of what Oswalt's going for here.
Past the halfway mark here in period number one of the 145-pound matchup between Dylan Chappell and Ian Oswalt. Chappell, former NCAA qualifier, coming in with a record of 15-8, the sophomore, trying to break a losing streak. He's lost his last two matches against Ian Oswalt, who is coming in with a 10-13 record, the junior, in the match out of Lower Bureau, Pennsylvania.
Two Pennsylvania natives going at it. Not really a surprise. Definitely not the last time we'll see that here today. Pennsylvania high school wrestling is easily the cream of the crop, you might say.
It really is the premier state when it comes to wrestling, definitely in the Northeast, and some would argue in the entire country. And it's fascinating. We were talking off the air.
Undoubtedly, yeah.
We were talking off the air about this, Braden, as there's another attack comes in for Chappell, able to stand up Oswalt. Oswalt, that's an excellent hook over the right arm of Chappell. Nothing giving yet.
That is called a whizzer in wrestling terminology. It's basically when you have the underhook of the arm, and it's a very good defense mechanism, and you see Oswalt using it to a T right there, not allowing Chappell to get any further with that arm. But if Chappell is able to come out here, see Oswalt now with the leg.
Well, that was some good defending again there by Ian Oswalt. Dylan Chappell, if you gave him another 10 seconds maybe in that round, he could have gotten a potential takedown, but Oswalt defending to the horn. It's still scoreless between Ian Oswalt and Dylan Chappell heading into period two.
I believe Chappell deferred, and Oswald will take bottom here.
Oswald quickly in the 4-point against Dylan Chappell on top, but Chappell still with a firm hold on Oswald. No recovery yet. Oswald thrown back onto the mat. But Chappell remaining in the attacking position against Oswald down low. Formidable in the attack there was Chappell preventing a quick escape.
Chappell's going to hang on to that leg for dear life and not allow Oswald to pop it out.
Yeah, right now Chappell looks to be in trouble. He's got a firm grip on Oswald's right leg as Oswald tries to turn on the Bucknell wrestler.
Chappell on his base here could maybe drive through.
And you see Oswald trying to do something against the grip of Chappell, and the referee will call for the stalemate. That might have been to the chagrin of the Brown wrestler, Oswald. He had himself in a real good position there, just had to get rid of the grip that Chappell had on his right thigh.
Yeah, and we saw that position a few times in the first period.
And there we go again. However, Oswald able to spin against it. That's
Great
very well
roll.
done by Oswald. He's looking for the reversal,
wow.
but Chappell somehow able to grab on the left thigh of Oswald again. Somehow it's not a reversal.
I have no idea, because that was an excellent roll by Oswald. I mean, the same exact position we saw last time, Chappell looking to put down Oswald. Oswald rolls through. Chappell this time not able to maintain control, and Oswald ending up on top. But Chappell somehow finding that left leg and maintaining control. And Chappell will be back on top.
I tell you what, I am not sure how Chappell was able to prevent a reversal there. That was textbook.
Yeah.
Textbook what Oswald was able to do to spin away from the bring down. And, well, he nearly got the reversal. He will, though, get the escape, but not before minute 13 of ride time. That is crucial as Oswald takes a 1-0 lead here in period number 2 with 40 seconds left.
And so I guess you could say it's 1-1 right now. If this trend remains, I imagine that Chappell will take down in this next period. So Oswald at least needs to get 14 seconds to keep this match tied.
Oswald for Brown against Chappell of Bucknell with 15 seconds left to go here in the second period. Chappell with some excellent ride time and some good defensive wrestling to prevent a reversal, has him, when you include the ride time, tied up with Oswald as the clock ticks down. The second period ends. Oswald up 1-0 against Chappell. Now a decision here for the Cranberry Township native, looking over towards his bench. And here we go. This is going to be fascinating. So Dylan Chappell choosing to start in the neutral stance rather than on the bottom. He's trying to get that ride time staying at 1:13 and get a potential winning takedown from the neutral spot.
So, I mean, in a matchup like this where it's as close as it's been, both wrestlers have had good opportunities. Chappell here. Oswald going to try to keep him below the knee. Great
Chappell
trip by
pushing
Chappell.
Oswald down. That was a hand push and the trip. And he's able to get the takedown there. Oh, you can see Oswald trying to close in on Chappell. Chappell just pushing him away with his left arm and was able to trip up, lose his balance. And just like that, the Bucknell wrestler takes the lead. An excellent takedown by Chappell.
And you saw he chose neutral for a reason, saw something he could take advantage of, and just an excellent job by Chappell, closing in on that opportunity, getting in on that single, and then executing the trip to a T. Great job by Dylan Chappell, putting that on Oswald. Just continuing to rack up ride time here. And that'll be out of bounds.
Saw there as they come off of the circle on the near side near the press box from where we are stationed here. I mean, you saw there was a very long discussion between Dylan Chappell and head coach Dan Wernsberger going with the signals like, hey, are you sure you want to do neutral? Yes, he go into neutral, and it turned into a very quick takedown. It worked to a charm.
And I heard Coach Wernsberger say, gotta have it, and look at Chappell following through right after getting that takedown. Just great camaraderie between the coach and the team. Dylan Chappell executing well here.
Chappell trying to recover after what was his first technical fall loss of the season last time out against Oswald here. He's with the advantage currently 3-1, trying to get another takedown down here as he sends Oswald back onto the mat. It remains 3-1, the ride time continuing 2:14 and counting.
And Oswald, it may have been a gymnast the way he's rolling here. He's done quite a few rolls here, but Chappell doing a great job with the seatbelt, maintaining control. And 2:24 of riding time here for Chappell. Oswald's going to need a takedown.
It's going to be a takedown just to tie it.
Just to tie
as
in,
of now for Oswald. Not even a reversal would do at this stage. He's going to need Well, at this point, with him starting in
Will
the
he
bottom
get an
position, he
escape?
would need the escape and the takedown if he were to get a victory in this one. But with 26 seconds left, he's running out of time. He needs to get busy. But Chappell keeping a firm grip on Oswald in the attacking stance. Oswald trying to spin away from it, gets back onto his feet. Chappell still grabbing him from behind, and then Oswald able to get the escape. He's got 13 seconds to get a takedown. 10 seconds left. Oswald, the Lower Bureau native, against the Pennsylvanian, trying to get anything going. Chappell pushing against it. It was a good match from start to finish as the last gasp unsuccessful. They're going to get another takedown as well. Dylan Chappell right at the horn getting 3 points as Oswald went for broke, and it will be an 8-2 victory for Dylan Chappell against Ian Oswald in one of the better matches that we will see today.
That was a fantastic match. Every time Chappell wrestles is exciting, and you know he's going to bring the scrambles and the energy, and right there, textbook Chappell.
And we take a deep breath here in the press box as we're back underway here. We go to the 149-pound matchup. Well, if you like the Keystone on Keystone matchup, we've got another one here at 149. Riley Bauer, a native of Williamsport, Pennsylvania, just 35 minutes away, against Sam McMonagle, the native of Downington, Pennsylvania.
And you're familiar with that area, aren't you, Nick? Williamsport?
Somewhat, yeah, somewhat familiar. Riley Bauer of Williamsport High School graduate, a great program there for wrestling as well as basketball. Winter sports, definitely a favorable part of Williamsport, as Bauer comes in with a record of 10-11. He has lost, though, 4 of his last 5 against McMonagle, who's only got 1 win this season, a 1-6 record. 2 wrestlers trying to end their final match for Bauer at home, for McMonagle overall on winning terms.
And this is going to matter for EIWA with the rankings. It's there is a coach's aspect that goes into the rankings, but it's gonna be mainly contingent on what you did in conference, and this is a conference matchup, so very important for seeding.
We're expecting a low-scoring one in this one. For Riley Bauer at 149 for Bucknell, his last 8 matches have gone the distance. And for Sam McMonagle, his only win this season, you have to go back to Jordan Brown of Binghamton, where he won 2-1. That was the only win of the season for McMonagle.
So Riley Bauer usually is a 41, and he is actually wrestling up today at 49. So probably had a lighter cut than usual, probably feeling pretty good. So expect Bauer to go out there and bring the energy.
The Bison up in the team score, a score of 6-4, 2 decision victories at 125 and 141. Brown with a major decision victory at 133, their only victory so far on the day. This is something we talked about off the air as well, the Pennsylvania wrestlers taking on each other. It's very possible that you could see these guys, you could have known these guys' names going all the way back to the high school level, the middle school level. All of these wrestlers that, when they come from this state, they typically haven't faced each other for the first time.
No question about it. I mean, I'd say that if they're not from the same county, that they would have definitely faced each other at Whippiols, which is the Pennsylvania State Tournament. But Bauer here in a bit of a precarious situation.
It was McMonagle closing in on Bauer, but the Williamsport native able to evade against it. No points awarded.
Great job by Bauer, keeping McMonagle below the knee, able to get away, kick his leg away, so able to clear it.
Mentioned McMonagle with only 1 win this season. He does have 6 losses, a majority of those coming in duels this season. In fact, all of his matches this season have been in duels, with a 1-3 record against EIWA opponents.
And it's pretty surprising. You know, there's been a fair amount of opens, but I guess Brown geographically isn't as close to Bucknell. So I mean, Bucknell has attended a couple that are in this region, but I guess Brown being in Rhode Island,
I mentioned this could go to distance. McMonagle has only had 2 matches end early, 2 technical fall losses. He has never been pinned, at least this season. And, of course, his only win being in a decision. So we expect this one to be low scoring, going all the way till the end. And, well, through the first 3 minutes of action, that's what we have seen. 3 minutes gone, still scoreless between Riley Bauer and Sam McMonagle.
And McMonagle will defer, Bauer taking bottom. I have a feeling that McMonagle will keep that streak alive of not being pinned here today. Bauer not particularly known for his ability to pin people, but never know what could happen. And this is a wild sport.
That is for certain. Bauer wrestling his 6th straight duel as a representative of 149, and it only took 10 seconds for him to get the escape. And this could be one of those matches where the ride time dictates who gets the victory. Only 10 seconds for McMonagle there to start the second frame. And now, what's the strategy here from Riley Bauer's perspective? You know this is set to be a low-scoring one. Is you've only got 10 seconds of ride time going against you. What's the strategy here? Are you going to be a little less aggressive and take it all the way to the third, or do you try to make something out of nothing here and be the aggressor in the second frame?
I mean, I think that what we're seeing from Bauer here is he's just a great shot
Just
by
like
McMonagle.
that.
Yeah, just as you were about to say. So I think he's going to let McMonagle dictate the pace. Oh, Bauer looking to reverse here, though.
No
And now end
takedown
up on
awarded
top.
yet, but there he's able to get on top
Looking for
of
the pin.
McMonagle. No points awarded though yet. No points for the takedown. McMonagle was in a real difficult position. For a moment his back was on the mat. He was able to wrap around the hip of Bauer to prevent any sort of takedown, and that was a real quick trend of events. McMonagle looked like he had the takedown. Bauer was there on the counter. It could have been a quick pin there in the end of it, but ultimately no points awarded after the biggest spark of this match so far.
So I feel like for Bauer, the strategy you asked before that crazy scramble, that just not try to do too much. Just let McMonagle dictate. If he finds an opportunity to take a shot, he obviously will. But I think what we're seeing here, he's up 1-0. He's going to go into the third period. I'm assuming McMonagle is going to take down. He's going to try to ride for as long as possible and then try to just win the battle. There we go. Good shot from Bauer.
McMonagle climbing onto the back there. He was looking for the left leg of McMonagle, who was able to wrap around the hips of Bauer. It's very little that Bauer could maybe do in this position, but he's able to do something about it. How about that? Able to withstand himself from McMonagle and get the takedown with just 10 seconds left in the frame.
Great job there by Bauer, clearing that left arm of McMonagle's leg and then pinning and maybe some back points here. Had McMonagle tied up, but Bauer able to come out on top of that last scramble and now leading 4-0. Doesn't have to try to do too much here in this third period, just maintain this lead. Much easier to maintain a lead than to come from a position of behind and come back.
Well, I'd tell you what, certainly easier once you get that late takedown all the way to the end of the period. It looked like the two wrestlers were just tangled up, but Bauer able to create the takedown out of it. A real slippery takedown there from the Williamsport native to make it 4-0. McMonagle on his feet. Bauer putting him back down onto the mat. The ride time continuing to build. 4-0. Bauer up against McMonagle.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that we're going to see both Bauers here today. And I see Braden Bauer, Riley Bauer's twin, warming up at this current moment, but I'm not entirely sure.
We'll keep an eye on that as this duel progresses. As of now, though, it's the brother of Riley with the lead, continuing to build up the ride time. It's now at 42 seconds as the referee calls for a stalemate. In fact, the wrestlers might have been out of the circle, so they're back in the center. Bauer on top of McMonagle with 1:21 left to go in the third. Riley Bauer lost 4 of his last 5, and a false start warning being called on the aforementioned Bauer.
It's called a caution in this. But yes, the same idea. Oh, Bauer, good trip. Looking to roll here, get some back points.
He's able to get the roll there on McMonagle, and now McMonagle could be in trouble. Trying to get some back points going. It's 4 points. A 4 being shown up by the official. He's got one shoulder blade down. He's looking for the second. McMonagle with 1 minute and 2 seconds left in the period trying to escape from this position. Still only one shoulder blade down. His left arm extending to prevent it from coming out, and now he's able to get the left arm to move him back onto his chest. Well done there by Bauer. The 4 points still not officially being awarded yet, but will in fact be awarded to Bauer on the near fall. A great string of events there by the Williamsport native, and there is the 4 points officially being given. That puts it in major decision territory with 35 seconds left.
And, with time being short, I would say that maybe Bauer goes for another takedown, but, in the current position with the major pending, Bauer doesn't need to do too much here. Great third period by the back end by Bauer.
He has looked like a real mature wrestler, hasn't he? Get with as of now, what could be a major decision. 2 wins ago, Aaron Turner of Morgan State. That was the last time he had a major decision victory. He won that one 12-4. He's on pace for a major decision here.
And Riley Bauer, perfectly content to ride out in this position. And it looks like he will do just that. Possibly a stall stall warning coming for McMonagle, but I don't believe so as Bauer approaches that 2-minute mark of ride time. Just a clinic put on by Bauer in this match, wouldn't you say, Nick?
It was Brown winning at 125, and then since then 3 straight, and the victories for the Bison perspective have just been getting better and better. A major decision victory for Riley Bauer, back to winning terms here on Senior Day, the sophomore with the victory. Final score there of 10-4, and we'll step aside here. We'll have the 157-pound matchup coming up next, live on YouTube. You're tuned in to Bucknell Wrestling. Great crowd on hand here, the Davis Gym in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, and the home crowd being treated to a show here early on with the Bison in the team score up 10-4 against Brown. A major decision 9-0 victory for Riley Bauer against Sam McMonagle, I should say, as we head now to the halfway mark in this duel. Match number 5, 157. Blake Saito wrestling for Brown against Braden Bauer, a very late entrance into this duel, Braden, and you called it in the previous match. You saw Braden Bauer, the brother of Riley, warming up, and he will, in fact, make his maiden appearance in a duel at 157 this season. His brother, Riley Bauer, actually making appearance at 157 earlier this year against Bloomsburg. It's his brother, Braden, making it at 157 here against Brown.
And, yeah, we should be in for a good duel meet here, or a good match. Riley Bauer just picking up the win. Now, Braden Bauer.
Braden Bauer lost 2 of his last 3. The last time he competed was a duel against Columbia, losing that one to a decision 9-4, and now they go quickly. Saito on top of Braden Bauer, looking for the takedown, and is going to get it. An excellent start there for Saito.
Yes, Saito with a great job to work inside, getting on that single, turn the corner, and he's on top. Braden Bauer looking to slip out the back door here, but doesn't look like he will be able to.
Saito currently in the middle of a 2-match winning streak, and he got it in excellent fashion last time out. A pin victory against Tyler Williams of Drexel the last time he wrestled, as they come off of the mat with Braden Bauer trying to get the escape, but ultimately ran out of real estate.
I would say that Saito has been probably the most successful wrestler for Brown this season. I mean, probably I think the only one with a winning record, so probably something he can rest his cap on, but, you know.
As far as the overall wrestlers for Brown this season, he is the only wrestler to have wrestled 10 times and have a winning record for Brown. There is another wrestler with a winning record at 3-2. That's Ethan Mojena, who we don't expect to see here this afternoon.
He would be here at 57, but clearly Saito getting the nod here today.
Well, the Bears certainly locked in at 157 based on the record so far this season.
Yeah, have a lot of success. You know, maybe look for in the future one of those guys to go up or down to incorporate them both into the lineup. But at this current moment, Blake Saito working on. Nick, I have this thought in my head, and I could be. I think we just witnessed Braden Bauer wrestle at 49, and now we're seeing Riley Bauer. And I could be very mistaken, but there's a big possibility because I think that Braden Bauer has competed mostly at the lighter weights, and I know that Riley is the bigger of the two. So potentially dangerous call there, but that would be embarrassing, but I think it'd be understandable.
Well, there's a warning for that one. You know, it's fascinating. In the last match, for those of you that are tuned into some of the regional wrestling coverage, Lock Haven took on Cleveland State, and the head coach of Lock Haven is Scott Moore, and his twin brother is the coach of Cleveland State.
Oh, wow.
So we did speculate on air whether maybe the coaches had exchanged, maybe it was at one point during the match exchange roles. Now we could see that here even on the mat between the Bauer brothers. We can't confirm, though, it is Blake Saito wrestling for Brown, and we can't confirm that he is in the lead and continuing to build up the ride time, up 3-0 against Bauer.
Yes, Saito looking very good here. I mean, very in control with that seatbelt draped across Bauer.
We can confirm that it was originally supposed to be Aiden Davis, the freshman out of Monroe, Michigan, to wrestle here for Bucknell at 157, who had lost 5 of his last 6, but overall had a decent, we'll call it decent season, the freshman with a 9-12 record, but with the losing streak, one of the Bauer brothers wrestling against Saito, the Ohioan.
There's been a lot of turnover at 57. You know, we've seen Nick Delp. He suffered an injury, honored here. I believe he dislocated his shoulder just a couple of weeks ago. That was here again. I think it was against Army. We also had a chance to see Colby DePron. He suffered an ACL tear, re-tear. He tore it again, unfortunately. But, you know, he wouldn't be the first wrestler to wrestle without an ACL, so we could see a return here. But, you know, Bucknell having to dig deep here at 57, and Saito looking to get some back points.
Yeah, Saito trying to turn on to Bauer. Bauer keeping his left elbow out to prevent any sort of near-fall points. And, well, Bauer might have been saved by the bell there a little bit early on as the horn goes. Saito getting himself in a really good position, a really excellent wrestle for the Ohioan as he has a 3-0 lead and 2:16 of ride time heading into the second period.
Yeah, Saito looking very good here, very strong from his base. I mean, I imagine that with this Bauer will not be able to hold him down for long, and you see Saito to his feet right away.
He's in the 4-point stance. Bauer, though, staying in the attacking position, able to grab that left leg of Saito and put him back down. But Saito just as quickly is able to escape to make it 4-0. About 11 seconds of ride time there for Bauer.
I wonder if we have some Saito fans behind us, you know, very adamant calls.
Well, I'll tell you what, Blake Saito has definitely been a real bright side for this Brown wrestling program this season. Had an excellent start to the dual season, winning 24-10 against Davidson, but since then they have dropped their last 7 duels. Last of which, though, was arguably one of their best, losing 19-15, but showing a lot of strength and a lot of formidableness against Drexel. That was on February 10th. Roughly a week ago, and now a week ago to the day they take on Bucknell here on Senior Day.
Yeah.
1:05 left to go in the second period of this one.
Yeah, Brown has struggled in the EIWA conference. They're 0-5 at this current moment. Only win of the season is against Davidson. You know, individually, I imagine Saito has done well at some opens, but in dual meet competition, the Brown Bears have not fared very well in the EIWA.
You'd have to argue it's the first couple of weight classes where it really begins. Saito going to ground here against Bauer. Saito trying to turn against it. Bauer grabbing the right leg there of Saito, though. And as of now, nothing being awarded with Saito draped on top of Bauer. Trying to turn against here of Bauer is Saito to get a takedown. Still 23 seconds left as the referee stands it back up.
Saito with a great job. Bauer was extremely deep on that shot, but Saito, great job to get that hip down. Lots of weight on it, you know, able to drag Bauer away from it, and does a great job getting back to his feet.
Bauer pushing the head down there of Saito momentarily, but both in the neutral stance with 8 seconds left in the second period. It's Saito up 4-0 against Bauer. As the horn goes here for the second period. Forgot to mention here early on, but Brown being represented by the red wristband of the referees. Bucknell represented by the green wristbands here this afternoon, as you were able to see on the scoreboard if you're tuning in live on YouTube, but just giving confirmation that is in fact the color distinctions for both of these schools this afternoon.
And Saito here, currently in the lead, doesn't have to do too much. Can rest on his laurels a little bit, but don't want to rely on that too heavily. But with the lead, Bauer would need 2 takedowns. So Saito in on a good single again. Looking for the reattack, maybe.
Bauer still defending against, well, he's got the
Front headlock.
front headlock going, though, as Saito continues to attack and just falls onto the hardwood there momentarily. There was Blake Saito with just 1:22 left to go.
I really like the body language exhibited by Saito here. You know, Bauer right, shaking his head a little bit, wasn't so fast, back to the circle, but Saito right back to the circle, ready to go.
And you could tell the confidence needs to be building here for Brown as a team. You got the early major decision win, and now Blake Saito, if he's able to turn this into something more than just a decision, that could really build confidence for the rest of this Bears team heading into the rest of this duel.
Yeah, yes and no, because I feel like it's very matchup by matchup, you know, dependent. So Saito doing very well here, and that's going to rile up the team, of course. I think it's definitely going to give them some momentum going into the later matches, but you know, Brown with some tough matchups coming up here as Bauer looking to reverse this attempt.
Saito still grabbing, though, at the left leg of Bauer. Saito still on top, and he's going to get another takedown. Well, Bauer did very well to nearly get that reversal up, as Saito, with a firm grip on the left leg of Bauer, is able to get another takedown and is now in major decision territory with 35 seconds left.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Saito maybe cuts Bauer. Oh, no, with the extra minute, I mean, no reason at all.
Looked like he was trying to get a little bit more. He had Bauer up onto his side, but ultimately ran out of real estate as they come off of the circle with 24 seconds left.
I mean, he would need a tech is just unrealistic at this point in the match. So just really going to look to hang on for the major, not give Bauer the escape.
I'd tell you what, Saito doesn't look like he's holding here for the last 20 seconds. He's still been a very aggressive wrestler on top. Bauer in the 4-point stance. Saito bringing him all the way back down.
Great seatbelt there by Saito to roll through. And, you know, committing to the major, I think that it's disappointing for Bucknell. Bauer with an escape could have not given up any bonus points, but unable to get away from Saito. So kudos to Saito getting the major decision, but who do we got at 65?
Major decision victory here, and it's up in the air for 165 for Brown. We expect Keegan Rothrock or Harrison Trahan. Whoever the wrestler will be, they're going up against the ranked wrestler, number 18th ranked Noah Mulvaney, the freshman out of Hartford, Wisconsin, and another box office wrestler for this Bison program.
And I happen to know this fine gentleman pretty well. We happen to live on the same area. You know, I'm not gonna say anything else about that, but Mulvaney's had a very good season, been a real bright spot of this Bucknell team, and yeah, I think the freshman is looking here to get another win here.
Well, Mulvaney will wrestle against Keegan Rothrock. We can't confirm it is Rothrock getting the start in this match against a real formidable opponent in Noah Mulvaney.
Mulvaney suffered a defeat at the hands of Jake Logan last weekend, and he's looking to rebound and get back in the win column here today.
And that loss for Mulvaney as well. It snapped a 12-match winning streak that included a complete sweep in the Southern Scuffle. Rothrock quickly, though, on the attack. Mulvaney forced to defend, grabbing at the right leg of Rothrock, one of the oars at 165. That's Keegan Rothrock, but he has looked to get an early advantage here early on.
And Mulvaney going to hang on to that ankle. And Mulvaney, no, not in the first period, second period, not going to see maybe too much. I don't want to speak, you know, say too much, but, you know, he really thrives late in the match when his opponent's tired. Mulvaney gets in deep on that single.
He's tiring out Rothrock at the moment. He's hopping on one leg. Mulvaney trying the trip, unsuccessful there. Yeah. Looking for another opportunity with the right leg up in the air. Now grabbing at the hips, and they come all the way off the mat. And a stall warning going to be called. A stall warning there on Brown. That was Keegan Rothrock getting the fist.
2 minutes remaining here in the Rothrock, already looking a little labored, you know, compared to Mulvaney, who I know is fresh.
Well, Rothrock isn't exactly in the best position, isn't he? Going up against a ranked wrestler, it's not a position that you would want to be in, going against a ranked wrestler here. Yeah. He's looking maybe a little bit tired. He's got the right knee brace also on his right knee, notably. He had a good early attack against Mulvaney, but I'm sure a lot of stamina taken out hopping on one leg for the last 20 seconds or so prior to the stoppage.
You know, at this point in the season, I think it's important to mention it. If you've wrestled a lot of matches, especially the volume that Mulvaney has, it's hard to stay healthy. You know, I know Mulvaney missed a couple matches, a couple dual meets with a sternum injury, but has since recovered and now is back ready to go. But I imagine that, you know, Rothrock rocking the knee brace probably is not unscathed at this point in the season as well.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's a lot of matches for Mulvaney. We mentioned Rothrock wearing the right knee brace, but this is only his 4th duel of the season. Mulvaney going right for that right knee. Mulvaney turned against on Rothrock and gets the takedown. An early start, a successful start for Mulvaney, with 1 minute left to go in the period, able to get the takedown on Rothrock.
And Mulvaney is going to continue to stay draped all over Rothrock's only got a few seconds here. And Rothrock clear in the hands, gets the escape.
Now make it 3-1 as Rothrock was able to escape, but he's already, as you mentioned, looking just a little bit winded. He's had to use a lot of stamina, a lot of energy in this opening period, which still has 37 seconds left to go.
And this is where Mulvaney really thrives, is in the gas tank column, especially gas tank as well as determination. Never going to allow the opponent to want to win more. Good sprawl by, great re-attack to get the back by Rothrock.
And Rothrock putting Mulvaney down, and just like that, it's Keegan Rothrock taking the lead 4-3 against Mulvaney and putting him back down onto the mat.
And Mulvaney here in some trouble.
A massive turn of events here. Rothrock putting Mulvaney back down. He's not going to get an escape right at the buzzer. He didn't get the escape in time. How about Keegan Rothrock coming in with an overall record of 5-10, looking for his first dual win of the season, and he's up 4-3 against number 18th ranked Noah Mulvaney.
And I'm not sure what we are having to stop it. We got a little bit of blood in the nose of Noah Mulvaney.
Yeah, it looks like just a quick medical stoppage as Mulvaney, well, he had his head put down onto the mat a couple of times there towards the end. Rothrock with a very impressive end of that first period. We talked about how he was looking win, but clearly he's got enough in the tank for something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is very beneficial for him. He gets a little bit of a break here, and he's going to something's going to get shoved in the nose of Mulvaney, clear that up, and then he's going to be right back out to a little bit of blood on the mat too as well.
Rothrock competed in only 2 duels this season, has the excellent medical staff behind the scenes here at the Davis Gym. We'll clean out some of the blood prior to the resumption of this match. As it currently stands through the first 3 minutes of play, Keegan Rothrock up 4-3 against Noah Mulvaney. Both wrestlers getting a takedown. Rothrock with an escape. We're dead even in terms of ride time, interestingly enough, through the first period of action. You can see Rothrock, he's got a grin. He's happy to be out there, you can tell. And he's got
happy
real
to be
reason,
in the lead.
He's got real reason to be happy based on what he was able to do, especially in the tail end of that first period.
Absolutely, and so Mulvaney taking bottom here. Rothrock able to ride very well out that last end of the first, so we're going to put Mulvaney back down here. Putting Mulvaney down is one thing, keeping him down is another.
That was about the 4th time you'd have to say where Rothrock did what he was able to do just now, grabbing Mulvaney at the hips and putting him back down onto the mat. Mulvaney, though, looking to escape once again. Rothrock basically riding Mulvaney on top. 1:40 left to go in the second. The ride time continuing to increase for the Brown wrestler. Mulvaney in that loss against Jake Logan, that was a representative of Lehigh. It was a close loss, 9-8 decision loss. It was actually very reminiscent when you watch the tape of what's taken place here so far, with Logan being able to just get a couple big takedowns on Mulvaney. And now in this match, a big takedown on Rothrock as he continues to build the ride time. Mulvaney momentarily in the 4-point stance, now onto his feet, but Rothrock still trying to set him up on the hips from behind. Referee quickly looking at the actions here, and eventually Rothrock gets pushed away. It's an escape point to make it 4-4, 57 seconds of ride time.
So when you have the back like that, you actually only have 5 seconds with your hands locked to put the wrestler back down. So you saw Rothrock released rather than just give up the point. So Mulvaney now deep in on a shot.
But Rothrock continuing to have a firm grip on Mulvaney as he's unable to turn on the wrestler. Now gets upended. They roll themselves all the way to the right side of the circle with 34 seconds left in the second period. Rothrock on the back of Mulvaney, still in a neutral position down low.
Mulvaney's got to work those feet off of his back.
You can see Mulvaney just trying to manually push
Mulvaney
the
coming
feet
out
off.
the back door. But as long as Rothrock's got those ankles, it's going to be tough. Mulvaney now.
But for how long here? Here's Mulvaney starting to close in, the left leg on, and they call an infraction there in the build-up of it. Rothrock, well, he had to defend all the way to the end there with just 6 seconds left, though. He was able to do so to keep it at 4-4. Excellent defensive wrestling again by Keegan Rothrock.
Time short, not much time for either wrestler to get much going, so it's all gonna come down to the third period here.
We've got another close one for the perspective of Noah Mulvaney, the 18th ranked wrestler in the nation at 165, but Keegan Rothrock has proved to be a different kettle of fish this evening. Or this afternoon, rather, as it'll be Rothrock starting notably in the bottom position here in the third period with Mulvaney on top. And now another stoppage, a caution being awarded there, and that's going to be on Keegan Rothrock. Rothrock there called there for the infraction.
I'm not sure what we're
Now both referees, as you mentioned here, Braden, both referees coming here to the monitor to get a quick look at things.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an official timeout. Rothrock going to get some coaching. But I think we'll be set to resume here in a moment.
Getting some coaching from Jordan Lean, head coach of this Brown Bears program, along with a pair of assistant coaches to his left as we're back underway here. Put 2 minutes on the clock. Mulvaney in the top position in a tie match. Now, what is the strategy here for Noah Mulvaney? It's a real precarious position, isn't it? If you let him up, you give Rothrock the lead, and that's exactly what they do. Mulvaney trailing by 1 against Keegan Rothrock, who's looking for his first dual victory of the season.
And the one word to describe what Mulvaney's about to do: go. He's about to unleash the full extent of the attack. Everything in the arsenal is about to get released.
Noah Mulvaney, you mentioned him, Braden. He is a third period wrestler in this third period. This is his period. He's trying to retake the lead. He's trailing by 1, draped on his back there is Rothrock, and the referee will stand him back up. This is the biggest match of the duel so far, and it's going to come down to the final action with 1:23 left. Ranked 18th in the nation. Noah Mulvaney down by 1. He grabs at the left leg again. Rothrock sprawls on top. He puts him back down onto the mat. They disengage from one another. It's Mulvaney going again at the left ankle, and they're back with Rothrock draped on the back of Mulvaney. A massive chance there, but Mulvaney unable to get the takedown. But will he do so here? Now he's got the left ankle here of Rothrock. They're trying to separate themselves from each other. There might have been a kick. Mulvaney turning again on Rothrock. Does he have the points? Yes, he does. A takedown with 50 seconds remaining, and Mulvaney takes the lead.
And Mulvaney, before that takedown, Rothrock with the springing Mulvaney off of him to avoid getting taken down. Just an unbelievable turn of events as Mulvaney ends up on top and looking good to win this match. I mean, Bucknell looking for a stall call of Rothrock, but Mulvaney going to keep riding him out.
There is the stall call to make it 9-5 with 20 seconds left. I tell you, Brady, it almost seems cruel, doesn't it? It seems a little bit cruel for the perspective of Keegan Rothrock. He'd done so well throughout this match, but with 10 seconds left, he's now under pressure against some potential near-fall points. It doesn't look like they're going to come, or will it? He's grabbing at the arm of Rothrock, putting him over to his side.
Chicken wing.
Not enough time for the near fall, but it will be a decision victory. The third period still Mulvaney's period as he gets the victory, 9-5, a decision win against Keegan Rothrock.
Mulvaney back in the win column and in a fashion that he's used to, a third period comeback for Noah Mulvaney. And that's the shining star right there for Bucknell.
Well, I'm sure Mulvaney would have wanted it to be maybe in a more comfortable fashion. As the crowd roars in approval for this one, they come to the 174-pound matchup with the Bison up 13-8 in the team score against Brown.
And there's a reason for that roar. We got senior Matt Kidwell wrestling his first match of the season. Boy, am I excited to see Kidwell wrestle right here.
Oh, that's going to be an exciting one. Matt Kidwell wrestling next after this break live on YouTube. You're tuned in to Bucknell Men's Wrestling. Well, this is one that'll put the Bison faithful on their feet. Matt Kidwell in his 11th match of his career, the senior on senior day with his first match of the season. Braden Berukowitz alongside me as we're underway in this one, as it is Matt Kidwell against who we believe to be Jonathan Conrad at 174.
And Kidwell, early in the season self-described as retired, but coming out of retirement here tonight, or here today, to face Conrad, I believe. So, Kidwell, the only time I've gotten to see him wrestle was at Inner Squad when he faced freshman star Miles Tackett for Bucknell. He wrestled a very competitive match, and a lot of the other wrestlers will say that Kidwell is a very good wrestler, and he's had a good career here at Bucknell, but looking to finish it in the right fashion. So here's his opportunity.
Kidwell, one of 5 seniors honored on senior day here this afternoon. Miles Bassett, Dorian Crosby, who we'll see from later, Nick Delp, Austin Whaley, and Matt Kidwell, the 5 seniors honored here on senior day. We will see Dorian Crosby.
Kidwell in on the single, looking for the trip.
Kidwell grabbing at the left leg now of Conrad. Conrad comes in with a 10-13 record.
He's got the sweep.
Gets tripped up. Oh. No points awarded yet. Conrad able to defend away from Kidwell, but Kidwell still with the left leg. The crowd in on this one. Conrad there for the counter, and it turns into a takedown for the sophomore.
And Kidwell got a little overzealous with the single, tried to trip just a little too much, leaned a little too far, and Conrad able to take advantage of that momentum and use it against Kidwell, ending up on top. But Kidwell going to compete in his final match.
Look out, that could have been a real tough situation there. An excellent job by our officials, quickly blowing the whistle dead, and a good view there on Jonathan Conrad. That could have been easily ugly as they were coming all the way off of the mat. It's 3 points for Jonathan Conrad. He leads against Matt Kidwell, the senior, appearing in his first match of the season. The Philadelphia native, a graduate of Father Judge, the senior, trying to get the crowd in it here on senior day with the Bison up 13-8 against Brown. And
I think this is going to be a pivotal match in terms of the total outcome of this match. We only got 3 matches remaining after this, and going to be some good matchups. But this is going to be one of those ones that's going to be a decider, and Kidwell could put Bucknell in a good position here, picking up a victory.
Miles Tackett, the usual wrestler, the freshman at 174. It's Matt Kidwell in his first appearance in the season. The last time that he won a match, you have to go back to the 2022 season. His only win of his career. He's 1-9 overall, 0-2 in duels. This is just the 3rd dual match of his career for Matt Kidwell here on senior day, taking on Jonathan Conrad.
And Kidwell not in the best position here. Conrad riding Kidwell. Kidwell going to have to get back to his base here, work to get back to his feet if he wants a chance to stay competitive in this match. Got to be, somewhat pleased that he was able to get in deep on that single in the early part of this first round, but since it's been all Conrad.
Conrad, we mentioned 2-match winning streak last time out, a 4-1 decision win against Jack Janda. That was, of course, of Drexel. His last time out, he's up 3-0 over a minute, 43 seconds now of ride time. Ooh. As the first period ends. Well, Matt Kidwell, from a lot of the senior crowd here at the Davis Gym, getting a ton of applause and some of the loudest cheers that we have seen here this afternoon at the Davis Gym, but he does trail 3-0 through the first frame.
I think the only person that might receive louder applause is when we see Dorian Crosby to finish out the day. But until then, it's going to be Kidwell Nation up in here.
Staying in the top position to start is Matt Kidwell here in period number 2. Conrad on his feet. Kidwell trying to get busy. They come back down onto
Conrad
the mat.
Looking for the reversal
Conrad
here.
Conrad trying to get the reversal, and he's going to get it. A big reversal there from Jonathan Conrad. A takedown and a reversal for the Brown wrestler. Has him up 5-0 against Kidwell. And now where does Matt Kidwell go from here? Trailing 5-0, he needs to get an escape. He needs it quickly.
And he needs to first and foremost focus on getting to his knees as opposed to being flattened out on his back. And he needs to avoid that chicken wing on the backside. I mean, Conrad's going to crank and potentially dangerous there. But
dangerous there on Jonathan Conrad, the referee blowing the whistle.
Kidwell definitely going to have to working on getting an escape first and foremost, and then work to get some offense, but gonna have to deal with Conrad on his back, and not an easy task. Definitely easier said than done to escape from Conrad, who's shown that he is a quite equipped rider.
Kidwell, his most appearances in a season was his sophomore year, 21-22 campaign where he went 1-6, 0-2 in both of his dual appearances in his career. He gets a stall warning there. He had one appearance his freshman season back in the 2020-2021 season. He made 2 his junior season. No appearances his senior season until today, and he's got the arm around there momentarily there. Conrad does on Kidwell. Kidwell, though, back on his mat.
I think that's really a testament to Miles Takich, though, and what he's been able to do in his freshman campaign. He's been super successful, and I think definitely one of the most improved wrestlers that on this Bucknell squad. Him and Noah Mulvaney really leading that freshman class here at Bucknell. And, you know, very young lineup here for Bucknell. Very bright future, I think, for the Bison. So, and Kidwell kind of part of that generation before that was in here that would kind of mark the end and a new beginning for Bucknell. And we're seeing it right here as the out with the old and in with the new.
As the horn goes here in period number 2, you know, as it was listed in terms of the probables, there were 4 freshmen slated to partake in the dualcade. David Heiser, Aiden Davis, Noah Mulvaney, who we saw last time out, and Miles Takich, who was set to feature here at 174. It goes to show this is a real program for the future for Dan Wernsberger in his 18th season in charge of this Bison program. Not a lot of matches left for a lot of these wrestlers, though, in the upperclassmen, with the Bison taking on Princeton last, and then, of course, hosting the EIWA Championships in the second week of March. A good opportunity, though, for some of the freshmen and some of the seniors who don't get as much time to get a potential wrestle here in the duel, as is the case for Kidwell as he starts in the defensive position here in the third period.
And I think that, you know, Kidwell still dealing with Conrad draped all over him. I mean, just, I don't know if it was the wisest decision to take bottom as Kidwell is called for a stall and gives up another point. I think at this point, damage control, Kidwell just trying to avoid a major or a pin is the #1 goal.
That might be what Conrad has to offer here. He's got over 4 minutes now of ride time, up 6-0. Plus the ride time, of course, would make it crucially 7-0. He's trying to get some near fall points, trying to set up on the side of Kidwell, who remains chest to mat. 1 minute left to go. Conrad just putting his head on the back of Kidwell there, trying to
he
wrestle.
will not get the major. It's 8 points for a major, so they're saying to cut him loose. Kidwell here, going to see how bad he wants to not get majored as
Conrad, though, goes for the right leg. He's looking to get a potential opportunity here, but Kidwell over onto the back. Now his butt to mat, turning again there is Conrad, and he is going to get the takedown, which puts him in major decision territory. He needed to get the advantage by 8 points, and as of now, he's got it.
And he sure does, and I wouldn't be surprised if he cuts Conrad loose again and gets another stall point as Kidwell.
With 15 seconds left, if there was another minute left in the match even, you might be considering if this was in technical fall territory, but with 7 seconds left, it will only be a major decision for Jonathan Conrad. Matt Kidwell putting the crowd on its feet as his name was being called here on senior day, but it is the sophomore getting the victory against the senior, a final score of 11-1.
And not the effort that you want to see from a senior in his final match, but good career for Matt Kidwell, and that'll mark the end. But another one of these young wrestlers that I was talking about, with part of this new generation, this new life here at Bucknell, Mikey Bardish.
And hey, don't look now, but Brown firmly in this duel in terms of the team scoring 13-12. Those 4 points being added by the major decision. All 3 of Brown's victories this afternoon have been major decision wins. Heading into the 184-pound matchup, Mikey Bardish, the sophomore out of Norwalk, Connecticut, will wrestle who we expect to be against Colby Isabel in just his 5th match of the season.
I'm fairly certain that this is not Colby Isabel. I saw him warming up, and I don't believe this is him.
Well, we'll try to give confirmation when we can on the wrestler at 184 on the scoreboard. It still does say Isabel, but it is, in fact, Mikey Bartush for Bucknell wrestling at 184 as the Bison look to extend their advantage in the team score, and for Bartush individually trying to get another victory in a row after winning against Lehigh last time out.
And I believe that this is Oliveri, and I'm looking at Colby Isabel on the bench. Definitely not him, so I'm going to try to get confirmation like you said, but Bartish going to be the one who's going to go for Bucknell.
Well, it should be noted that Nick Oliveri was the probable wrestler. We heard that he was a late scratch, but maybe not so, but we have our investigation crew behind the scenes here trying to give the official distinction. Of course, our detective Brandon Barukowicz quickly on the task, but more on Mikey Bartish, the sophomore, a 20-win wrestler in his sophomore campaign, 20 wins and 8 losses, winning against Jack Witt of Lehigh by a final score of 7-1. And was undefeated at the Edinburgh Open, notably earlier on this season, the only Open in which he was undefeated in. At the 184-pound matchup, it's Mikey Bartish wrestling for the Bison against the Brown wrestler 184, who we initially speculated was Colby Isabel, but we might think now could potentially be Nick Oliveri at 184. It's an attack here from Bartish, trying to turn on a Brown wrestler. He grabbed the right leg, and he gets the takedown for 3.
Great job by Bartish to turn the corner there, get around on the front headlock, and just textbook by Mikey Bartish. And I think when you talk about Mikey Bartish, it's important to note that coming into the season, he wasn't really looked at as the guy to go at 84. Last season, obviously, Logan DeCitis was the one who we'll see at 97 just here in a few moments. He was the one that went for most of the 84, but then Nolan Springer, a guy that who routinely beats Bartish in the practice room, Bartish has just emerged as more of a competitor and a better favorable matchup for most wrestlers.
And he could turn on here. He's got the
pin.
Shoulder blade down. This could be a pin. The eyes on the referee as the Brown wrestler's in trouble. Bartish on senior day trying to get the pin. The sophomore's done it. Mikey Bartish with a pin victory. It's his 10th dual win of the season as he gets the crowd on his feet with a pin win.
And Bartish going to keep that train rolling. And great effort by Bartish, getting the pin, gives a bow and a wave to the crowd. Bartish finishing strong here.
Well, you couldn't have asked for the 184 to turn out better for Bucknell's perspective. Mikey Bartish, now a 2-match winning streak after getting pinned in back-to-back matches a couple weeks ago. He's now got a decision win 2 matches ago and a pin win against Brown at 184. And as we head to the 197 matchup, we'll step aside for the final time. We'll have 197 in the heavyweight coming up next. Live on YouTube, you're tuned in to Bucknell Wrestling. Back underway here at the Davis Gym in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Live on YouTube, you're tuned in to Bucknell Wrestling. Every single match had gone the distance in this duel until the 184. Mikey Bartish with a pin victory to make it 19-12. We're at 197. Logan DeCitis against Lear Quinton as we're quickly underway.
And DeCitis, someone who was a starter for Bucknell last year at 84, now bumping up to 187, feels a lot more comfortable at this weight. And has been pretty successful this season. I believe he's 13-10. And DeCitis looking to pick up another victory here today.
10 losses on the season here for DeCitis. including back-to-back losses, but he had an excellent 8-match winning streak prior to that losing skid that DeCitas finds himself in. His last match, a technical fall loss against Lehigh, number 4th-ranked Michael Beard, winning that one 21-6. Now wrestling against Lear Quinton, who is looking for the first win of the campaign, and he's able to get things going quickly. As you mentioned, off the back door, getting the takedown to make it 3-0.
And DeCitas, I feel like 197 is one of those divisions where you're going to probably face some dogs, most every match. It's a weight where you find that combination of speed and strength, but you don't really see all that speed at heavyweight. But here at 97, it's a very competitive division. You look at some of the notable guys that DeCitas has faced this year. Michael Beard, very, very tough matchup, lost to Tech Fall, as well as Jack Waymeyer of Columbia. I believe he faced against Minnesota. He had a pretty tough matchup as well. Yes, he did Garrett Joles, who he lost just a regular decision 3-8. But every match that DeCitas has had against very competitive opponents have been just that, very competitive. So I think that we're seeing that effort and that pedigree on display here today when DeCitas doesn't face as technical a wrestler as the ones he's faced in the past.
And he's taken on the wrestler Lear Quinton. He actually does have a win on this season. Quinton does 1-8, 9-35 in his career. This is his first duel of the season. It could be a potential benchmark match for DeCitas too. He has never had 9 wins or more in duels in a season. He's 8-5. He was 3-1 last season. He was 8-9 his freshman year. He's trying to get his 9th duel win of the campaign against Quinton, who's looking just to get his 2nd win of the season.
And Quinton, further than the win, looking to just get up from out of this position. DeCitas looking for a cradle here, it looks like, or maybe a spladle. But
you can see the left arm and the left leg trying to be put together here by DeCitas against the wrestler Quinton. That's the left side of Quinton.
Now DeCitas going to look to work on that chicken wing. It seems like the very slippery that not sure who DeCitas is taking on.
That's Lear Quinton, the wrestler for Brown.
There we go. And it seems like Quinton's got a very slippery left arm. DeCitas having some trouble locking in that chicken wing, but with both hooks in, looking to flatten out Quinton here. That'll bring us to the end of the first.
As the first period ends, DeCitas with the takedown got busy on top of Quinton, but couldn't get any extra near fall points despite a couple formidable opportunities. It's 3-0 DeCitas over Quinton. Quinton, the senior wrestler, coming off of a 2-0 decision loss against Ibrahim Amir of Drexel in the last duel for him. Brown as a team with 7 straight losses in duels this season and a quick escape point for DeCitas to make it 4-0.
And both DeCitas and Quinton have faced Amir. DeCitas did some work to Amir, 16-0 tech fall, and not every day you say a 0, and that means never was able to escape.
Excellent nugget there from you, Braden. There, both these wrestlers taking on a similar wrestler in Ibrahim Amir of Drexel. 2 very different results, though, as they face off here.
And it seems like it's moving linear here into the direction of how you'd expect it to go. DeCitas currently with the lead, but anything could happen.
There's a attempted dive at the right leg. As you mentioned, Quinton able to sprawl on top and out of it. Good defending there by the Brown senior. Again, looking for win number 2 on the season, trailing 4-0, and all that ride time really built up by DeCitas. And it seems like it's going to be a real mental test here for Quinton because there's still a lot of time left to go here in this duel. DeCitas, you can tell just a decision win isn't something he would be satisfied with. He wants to make it a little bit extra. He has Quinton on the ground. Quinton grabbing at the left leg of DeCitas as he tries to spin away from it, and momentarily,
he's
but
get
does, and in fact does. After a slight delay, Quinton did everything he could to defend against it, but DeCitas getting his 2nd takedown.
Just a fantastic job by DeCitas. Almost felt like he was expecting that shot, drop down that left hip, and was able to cook that leg, get around the corner, end up on top, and it looks like DeCitas is going to go to work here, maybe look to pick up some back points. So DeCitas looking to tie up those hands. Now in the backpack, DeCitas.
13 seconds left here. DeCitas just thrusting Quinton back down with 10. And again, it doesn't look like DeCitas will garner any extra points from it with 3 seconds left, trying to set something up to put Quinton onto his side, but not enough time to set it up. DeCitas, as of now, with a major decision if you add the ride time, but still 1 period left to go here in this 197-pound match.
And DeCitas exhibiting very good body language at this current moment, right to the center, ready to go. And I think that's what you'd expect from a wrestler. Currently has 2 minutes and 49 seconds of ride time and just about 4 or 5 minutes of match time. So DeCitas looking good here.
2 of the last 3 matches featured a ton of ride time. Jonathan Conrad getting a lot of time on Matt Kidwell, and now you have DeCitas with 2:49 and counting on Quinton as they both come back down onto the mat. DeCitas diving at the hips of Quinton. Quinton defending from it, but for how long? He's back down onto the mat. It's a 3rd takedown for Logan DeCitas.
DeCitas going to cut him loose here. Looks right back to the coaches. He's going to go for this tech fall.
He wants to end this thing early, winning 10-1 at the moment with 1:19 left, but Quinton comes onto the attack unexpectedly. He's grabbed the left leg of DeCitas. DeCitas trying to spin against
that corner again.
Still going is DeCitas grabbing within the hips of Quinton. Quinton on the left leg of DeCitas, preventing another takedown in quick succession. Not a lot of action here down low. Both wrestlers just hanging on to what they can. DeCitas trying to let himself loose here. He's grabbing at the right arm of Quinton to relinquish his grip on his left ankle. He's unable to do so. 48 seconds left. DeCitas wants to get the takedown, and he's able to do so, catching Quinton Knapp, and he gets another takedown. That'll make it 13-1, now 13-2. They dive back onto him and gets another takedown. 2 takedowns over the span of 10 seconds for Logan DeCitas.
And I thought that was going to mark the end of the match, 14.
It's 16-2 with 33 seconds left and 3:08 of ride time.
Maybe it's 15.
It is, in fact, 15 points for the technical fall. As of now, it would be a technical fall win after the fact when you count the ride time. But as it currently stands, it's just a 14-point cushion for DeCitas. He's going to need another takedown to end the tech fall early. He does have a tech fall as it currently stands. He's back down onto the mat. He might be trying to get some near fall. He's looking at the scoreboard near side to see what is what.
I think DeCitas is going to finish on top and take the tech fall as a decision.
Well, coming into this one, any sort of victory for Bucknell would mean a team victory, and this would confirm it in emphatic fashion. For Logan DeCitas, it will be a victory for DeCitas as he defeats Lear Quinton, and on senior day, the Bison will be the victors for Brown, but the main event coming onto the mat in the form of number 28th ranked Dorian Crosby.
And, nothing like finishing the show with big Dorian Crosby up in the center circle. He's always a guy that you want to keep your eye on when he's wrestling. Someone that really brings the pace and energy at the heavyweight position, exhibits a lot of quickness for a big man, but wrestling his final match here at Davis Gym. Well, actually, they're hosting EIWAs, but his final dual meet here at Davis Gym. So Dorian Crosby definitely looking to pick up that final victory in a dual meet.
The Erie, Pennsylvania native, Dorian Crosby, a former NCAA qualifier, did lose last time out against Lehigh's Nathan Taylor, ranked 9th in the nation, take on Alex Semenenko, the Brooklyn, New York native, as we're underway here for the heavyweight and the final match of this duel between Bucknell and Brown, as the Bison will get the victory in this duel no matter what happens. 24-12 the team score. The Bison trying to put the cherry on top. Some heavy contact early on.
Yeah, Crosby snapping heavy. Now Semenko with that Russian. Let's see what he can do with it.
See the position that Semenko has Crosby in currently.
It feels like Semenko may have a few pounds on Crosby just upon the eye test, but of course, looks can be deceiving. But just upon looking at these two gentlemen, both of them obviously filling out the heavyweight role, but Semenko just looks a little bit bigger.
Both wrestlers filling into their respective singlets, still scoreless. 45 seconds in between Crosby and Semenenko. Alex Semenenko, we mentioned, out of Brooklyn, New York, 6-12 record this season. His career record of 13-32. Still looking to get his first win in an EIWA duel this season. It would have to be against number 28th ranked Dorian Crosby, who comes in with a record of 19-8. The senior, who was honored prior to this one on senior day, got one of the loudest applauses.
Crosby.
Trying to get the crowd applauding again. A good sprawl by Semenenko on top of Crosby. Crosby looking for that right leg of Semenenko, but the Brown wrestler defended well against it. And they come all the way towards the scores table on either side. And I tell you what, I'm glad I'm up here with you at the moment, Brady, because that would have had me bouncing backwards a little bit.
Yeah, the PA announcer he put his hand out like that's going to stop anything. I mean,
it's going to take more than a hand on that occasion for two heavyweights charging at you.
Yeah, maybe two hands.
I think it might take more than two hands there.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck. Crosby, it's fascinating with the context of how his season has gone. He has swapped wins and losses in each of his last 6. A loss we mentioned against Nathan Taylor of Lehigh, a win, a major decision against Adam Hasselis of Columbia, his last 2 matches. On pace, if that currently holds, for a victory here, but we're still scoreless with a minute to go in the first period.
I mean, but when you look at the EIWA, like in context as a conference, the heavyweight division is most definitely one of the most competitive divisions. He wrestled a really tough match against Lucas Stoddard of Army, which was the deciding match in that dual meet. Could not come out victorious. He also faced Nathan Taylor of Lehigh last time out. It was a victim of the tech fall. And since then, he's been pretty successful. Or that was the most recent match. But Crosby looking to get back in the win column here at this moment.
Crosby on pace if he gets the victory for what would be his second straight 20-win season in Bison Colors. Finished 20-15 with a 9-1 record in duels his junior season. He's 19-8 currently with a 9-5 record in duels. It's
interesting, that difference. Crosby's wrestled a bunch more dual meets. And I'm trying to think of the other heavyweight that would have been here, but I think that Dorian started most every meet. I know sophomore Logan Shepard is the only one else who may get a look, but has not wrestled a duel here this season.
Logan Shepard, the backup heavyweight, only one dual appearance. That was last season, as you mentioned, of course, no appearances this season. As the second period set to begin with Dorian Crosby in the bottom position with Semenenko on top.
Crosby going to work back to his base here, get to his feet. Semenenko goes for the trip, but nothing doing. Now Crosby
all the way to the other side of the mat, sends Semenenko to the mat, but out of play. It's an escape point there for Dorian Crosby, looking to get a quick takedown. Semenenko landing hard on the mat as they come off the circle.
Wincing a little bit, might be a little shaken up after that. There's a lot of impact.
Only 7 seconds of ride time awarded to Semenenko before Crosby was able to escape. We're in the second period. Crosby up 1-0 against Alex Semenenko in this heavyweight matchup. Both in the center of the mat currently. With 90 seconds in the second, it's the left leg grab there from Crosby, looking to trip up on the other, and he does so for the takedown.
He puts a little extra on that takedown, crushing Semenenko into the mat. And that couldn't have felt good. Crosby now up 4-0, looking pretty good here on senior day.
A little extra mustard on that one from Dorian Crosby as he leads now 4-0 and now has the beneficiary of ride time, 9 seconds and counting. And as you mentioned, it looked like he put his shoulder down a little bit on the back of Semenenko.
Just a little
extra. That one had to hurt.
And, especially at this weight, the little extra probably hurts just a little bit more. I mean, there's no 285 is quite a high limit. I know Dorian Crosby isn't all that. But
and here we go. Now the right arm grab here from Crosby trying to put Semenenko on his side.
He's working on that arm bar, chicken wing. Now trying to turn. He's cranking it hard.
Closely doing it, isn't he, is Crosby. He's trying to end this thing quickly. He momentarily had him on his back. Semenenko spinning against it. Stays in a defensive position. No near falls awarded. That was very risky from Semenenko, leaning into the bar as Crosby looks to attempt it again.
A good job by Semenenko to roll through as opposed to he was trying to roll. You're trying to instinctually roll against what the guy's kind of trying to crank you. But as soon as he got him on his back, rolled through with
and
Crosby.
And here we go again. He's in trouble. Semenenko. Crosby's got it. This could be a pin to end it. And it is. Dorian Crosby, 2 hands up. It's victory number 20 in Bison colors this season for Dorian Crosby. And he concludes senior day with a pin victory.
And no roll through that time for Semenenko as Dorian Crosby flashes the belt on senior day, finishing out the match strong, and that'll be a Bison victory in the dual meet against Brown. One last time here at Davis Gym. Nick, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Final thoughts, Braden, after that one.
And I've had a fantastic time calling Bucknell Wrestling this season. Thank you to everyone that has afforded me this opportunity, especially big thanks to Mr. Doug Birdsong putting me in this position, allowing me to be here. And to you, Nick, thank you so much for joining me today. And also a big shout out to Carl Bauer, who couldn't be with us here today. He's been my play-by-play for most, but Nick, you did a great job filling in here today.
Hey, you did an even better job, Brayden. That's going to wrap things up here at the Davis Gym. For executive producer Doug Birdsong, director Alex Brevick, camera operator Charlotte Olin and Rode LeMage, and of course our color commentator Brandon Barukowitz. I'm Nicholas Severini saying so long from Lewisburg. Again, your final score, Bucknell 30, Brown 12.